Well, I mean, it was all just so sudden. It was unique because not only was I laying everybody off, but I was also getting laid off. So it was just craziness. Like, I agreed with it on one hand for the safety of it, but the actual doing of it was heartbreaking.
I was really sad. I was sad that I couldn't work for like 2.5 months.
At that time, unemployment laws hadn't really been changed, so I had a couple kids that worked really hard but didn't qualify for unemployment because of like less hours, and one of them ended up lost his home and had to move back with his parents.
I also had moved into a new apartment too when that happened, so I was sad to leave my neighbors and then saw my mom and dad a lot.
We had such problems with the unemployment that a lot of my employees hadn't even been getting paid. And we're talking about a single mother, you know, people living paycheck to paycheck. It was a huge relief. We could bring people back. Like, I had people that drive my trucks, like hanging ladies' clothing, and we were taping all of the floors and measuring everything. And we had the freedom to do that at full-time pay, but we only had to work like 3-hour shifts to keep it staggered. So it was nice. It just felt like we were cared about.
I was excited because it's exciting to support people with special needs and stuff. It's a great environment to work at because I love working with my coworkers because they're all nice and really friendly and stuff.
And so really, it's all just about falling back on the mission, remembering what you do, why you do it, and just really trying to engage in it.
Hello, everyone. This is Seema Thorpe. I am the Executive Director of the Arc of Spokane, and welcome to the State of the Arc. I hope you all had a chance to see that video of the thrift store's experience with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of what I'm going to talk to you about actually is about where we've been and where we are now and where we're moving to and through the COVID-19 pandemic. This has been a year like none other, and I wanted to take an opportunity to talk to you about that, about this year and what we've all gone through together. I'll pause just a second here and remind everybody what State of the Arc is all about. I know a lot of people are new that are tuning in, and they might not, you might not know, what is State of the Arc? What are we doing here? And State of the Arc really goes back to when I first started with the Arc of Spokane in late 2015. I did a survey of employees and what they would like to see changed or things that they really thought would be helpful. And one of the things that came up was that they wanted an opportunity to learn more about the Arc. And there was no opportunity for people to come together, find out what was going on in various programs. I heard a lot from people like they might know what's going on in their own program, but they don't know what's happening in another part of the agency. So with the agency so diverse and growing, we really felt like it was important to have opportunities to have a all agency staff meeting so that we could provide a report and also have an opportunity to celebrate our accomplishments and share the challenges that are coming up. So this has really grown in the last 5 years, and now we do 2 of these State of the Arcs. This is our biggest one, and we're going to be announcing our Employee Years of Service and also our Employee of the Year awards here at the end. So this has really grown and become a much bigger event than it ever did before. So I hope that explains a little bit about what State of the Arc is all about. Okay, next slide. Okay, so just like I said, the presentation I'm going to give you today is about how we've gotten through the pandemic. So this will be about the last fiscal year and the last 15 or 16 months. So when things hit in March of 2020 and then forward to the present time and where we're moving. So, so I'm going to give you a snapshot of this pandemic survival process we've gone through. Next slide. Okay. Oh, forgot about this. Okay. Before I do that, let's do some thank yous to everyone. I want to give a huge thanks to all of you employees, all of our employees. You've been patient, creative, extremely hardworking. You've been so protective of the people that we serve and supportive of each other through this whole crisis. And that has really lifted me up personally as the executive director here, to see employees at every level of this agency with that enormous amount of dedication that you've all had. And so thank you so much. I'm very grateful to each of you. Okay, here is the snapshot. So just want to take you back to March 2020. We started hearing the reports of the pandemic, and the Washington State, the administration, the government said, okay, this is serious business. All of you that can work remotely, go do it. And this is a situation where we need to protect people's health and protect people's lives. So one of the things you might not know about that happened behind the scenes is we immediately convened a task force for the sole purpose of managing the agency through the pandemic. There had to be a lot of changes in policy, and there had to be a lot of changes in program. And those things happened right away. One of the hardest moments of my entire career was laying 53 employees off. Signing the status forms, laying 53 employees off. And I know it was heartbreaking for the whole director team and heartbreaking for the managers that were impacted. But we had to do that to save the ARC financially. And so that was one of the first things that happened. We were going to lay off more people, but Spokane County came to the rescue at the last minute for a new way for us to basically make money, a billing plan. And this really staved off more layoffs, especially in our employment programs and in community inclusion. So 53 sounds terrible, but I'm telling you right now, it could have been worse. We had to close programs. We had to close programs that could no longer meet in groups. So the community center and transition and young adult programs were immediately impacted. It had to close. Our Avista supported employment site had to close. We just couldn't do things we did before because it was no longer, allowable. And that affected our constituents too. That affected our people that we serve, not just our employees. Made a huge impact. We applied for the federal Paycheck Protection Program. It was we applied for a lot of money. We applied for 1.8 million, and what we wanted to do with that money was to keep us afloat. That's what it was intended for, and we wanted to bring all of those laid off employees back, be able to bring them back. So we did apply for that, and we actually did receive that money, and it has carried us financially through this pandemic to a large degree. Another thing that happened back then was we had a crisis in PPE and protective equipment, supported living, and anywhere you look in the agency that was still seeing clients. Didn't have enough gowns, didn't have enough masks, didn't have enough hand sanitizer. And we mobilized a huge marketing campaign. Some of you may recall us being on television at that time, pleading for people to give donations of things. It was an all hands on deck effort to get the PPE we needed. We had Friends of the Ark and volunteers sewing masks for us. We were calling on anyone we knew that could find hand sanitizer or buy it to deliver it to us. We had to get creative with how we were going to ensure that we could continue for our staff to be protected while they serve clients. COVID started to hit immediately our supported living homes, and we had quarantines of those homes because staff would become ill or potentially ill along with clients. And at that time, it could take 5, 6, 7 days to get a COVID-19 test back. We actually had staff who, set up camp in these homes, in our homes, and stayed with the clients until those tests came back and they could pass out of quarantine. I mean, those of you that were in that situation, I mean, that was just incredible that you had to go through that. But for the rest of us, just imagine if you could not see your family for that amount of time because you were literally quarantined and had to stay in quarantine until someone came back with your COVID test and told you whether or not you could leave. It was incredibly hard and huge impact on morale as well. So we ended up with a budget deficit going into last fiscal year 2021, and our board had to approve that. Essentially, that meant that our prediction was we weren't going to be able to find the revenue to bridge the cost of running the agency, and we needed the board to approve that so that we could potentially go to our reserves and things like that to keep the agency afloat and to keep from laying more people off. That was a huge goal of ours, is we wanted to stop more layoffs. We applied for every single COVID relief fund that we could from local foundations, and we got lucky, blessed. All of our applications were funded, and a lot of that was so that we could afford to buy increasingly expensive PPE. So that was back then, and that's a lot more things happened then, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a look of taking you back to March and through the spring and early summer, and then bring you up to now. So there's some great news here, right? I mean, all of our employees have been hired back. Those 53 employees that were laid back, they've been able to come back to work or ready for rehire. We've even been able to rehire our supported living drivers. The thrift store reopened in June after people being off for a couple of months, and they're currently exceeding their budget. They exceeded their budget for 2021, and I think they've even now had their 5th month of a best of month for revenue. So they're doing awesome. Everybody got creative. Zoom classes were extended to the community center and to tee up clients in the community center, offering eventually small group on-site respite. Vista opened up back up with rules in place for masking and social distancing, and our staff have returned. TEAP has hired back staff, and they're actively programming right now. They've done their Youth Employment Skills Program and Adulting 101 classes. And again, the creativity, I just wanted to show you something that transitioning young adult programs did during the pandemic. This is a cutting board that they custom made for me. They made a whole bunch of them so I can give for Christmas. And they did that project during the pandemic, and to sell these, normally they would sell them in farmers markets. They couldn't do that. So they sold those to individuals, and people pivoted to make it work. Our task force is still meeting weekly. There's still constant policy and program updates. Washington State has a reopening plan right now. So even today we met to figure out how that's going to look, and you'll see an announcement come out. We still have a lot of employees working remotely. We'll be opening up soon to more people coming back, but employees are still working remotely. And as of today, our supported living program has had a total of 185 days in quarantine. I mean, just imagine that, all of you not in supported living, if your program had been in 185 days of quarantine, what that might be like. So things are easing though. They implemented vaccination clinics. I think about 40% of our employees or more were vaccinated. And we've received funding, specialized funding to support supported living, to pay, bonuses and overtime and things like that for PPE and whatever we need to keep things financially afloat. So, I know I'm calling this a snapshot, and I just spoke quite a bit about the changes, but there's been so much more, and I know you guys are aware of that. But just to give us a little bit of a look back, this was just a little over a year ago, but it seems like a million years. Next. So just to give you the upshot of how it felt back then. Wildfire rapid response and initiative. I kind of joke a little bit to people that my job changed from executive director to first responder at this time back then. So our big goal was to align with the Washington state rules while racing to save program services, employees, jobs, and keep everyone safe and healthy. I've already given you some examples of that. Here are some others. One that is a concrete example of something we had to quickly change was how we do Rock the Runway. It went remote. I mean, we'd never done a remote event ever, and we had to figure that out. Thankfully, it turned out really well. But everything that we used to do was no longer, and we had to figure out a new way to do almost everything remotely. We had to figure out a way to find money that we didn't have to retain staff. And I have to say that, when we said jump, everyone just said, how high? Here's some examples of that rapid response a year or more ago. So now the theme is fire is my friend. Okay, so we've had this big pandemic. We're still in it, but what have we learned from it? How can we take this change and pay it forward into ways that are going to be better for the agency, better for our clients and our employees? So this is our theme now. Fire is my friend, adapt and innovate. And it means adapting to this new reality of leading during constant crisis and innovating new solutions. And here are some additional examples you can look at. One of those is going to be looking at our strategic plan through a new lens. The things that were in our strategic plan that were pre-COVID may no longer be relevant. We really have to assess whether or not our assumptions are correct about what our priorities are. We want to learn from employees working remotely and how we've delivered programs that way. There may be some ways that we can retain what we've learned and be more flexible, for example. So we don't want to just throw out everything we've learned through this pandemic. We want to retain those lessons we've learned and see how it can make us stronger. So for the future, try to keep with the fire theme here, trailblazers. And these are operative words here: evolve, listen, watch, and act. We're still learning. Be nimble is still very much where we're at. Nothing is set in stone. We need to pay attention to shifts and changes. Our supports and services may or may no longer be relevant. Focus on the right things and at the right times. Even recruitment of employees has changed during this period. We have to rethink how we recruit employees. We need to strengthen our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We need to keep our people-centered mission, vision, and core values in mind. Even as we evolve, we have to keep that in front of us. And then another one here that is really important to me is We've learned that we can't survive on our own. We are not an island. We are part of a larger community here in Spokane and in our state and in our nation. We must be partnership minded. We have to keep community connections moving forward. We have to be part of, not separate from. We have built a lot of new partnerships and relationships during the pandemic. We want to keep them and expand them.
All right, thank you, Seema. Forgive me, I'm also hosting, so I'm doing a little housekeeping here. Also, hi, I'm Luke, everyone. I'm the Community Engaged Programs Director. I'm also under the weather. I sent my daughter to daycare for a week, and she came back with a cold, which she then promptly passed on to me. So this is the most talking I will do all day today, and hopefully my voice runs out, or holds out, excuse me. We're gonna start with a video, and then we'll jump into my update.
I think it was really hard on us down there because we've been working so long trying to just get fully staffed and get a great team in there. And we really just finally hit that great team, drivers we needed, and then boom, here comes the pandemic.
Well, we were shut down for several months. We didn't open back up until July, I think it was. I started to do small group respites. But what we were noticing is I was getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of loneliness. People were very lonely.
December, November, I was told I get to come back in and help Christy with respite. She had made enough money to be able to bring a staff back. So that was really awesome. And I've been back since then.
We got a grant from Innovia. And so we were able to host Zoom classes for everybody.
It was so hard the first few Zooms that I did. I honestly had to turn my camera off and mute myself. I cried.
You know, they were lonely, they were sad, and then you look at this look on their face and they get so excited. And they were realizing that they weren't the only ones alone, that they were alone, but they're alone with their friends now. So it was a great way for them to reach out.
If I don't start the Zoom class the 5 minutes before, like usual, you know, one of the members, he always calls. What's going on?
I reached out to the owner of Pike Place Market, and he was able to do a tour with us, a live tour. It was so fantastic.
Gotten to know them more personally, and they've joined me in my pregnancy journey.
We've done virtual tours, bingo. Our yoga instructor has still volunteered once a week on Wednesdays.
It's one stop versus trying to go 25 places in 1 week to see all their friends. So I think it plays a huge role as far as in their social life.
We're making a calendar again. We're starting up outings, and it's just a glimpse of normalcy, and it feels really good to be heading that way.
This has become like, it's not just my job, it's a part of my life, hugely a part of my life.
I love this job. I could not imagine myself doing anything else. Like I said, I mean, I really look forward to every day. When I wake up, you know, some people are like, oh, I don't want to go to work, or it's Monday. I never feel like that.
Those two were absolutely amazing in that video. I teared up the first time I watched it because of what we've been through. Christy feels all the feels. She's absolutely amazing and has been an advocate through every step of the way for her team and especially for the members down there and their well-being. She's done everything that she can do, from direct client support one at a time to now getting us basically up to being able to reopen on a limited basis. Before I jump into that, though, I wanted to mention that Alicia had her baby last night, a healthy 6 pound, 10 ounce, I believe, baby boy. I keep looking at my phone to see if Christy will text me the name, but maybe she'll put it in the chat. So that is wonderful news for our team as well. We're putting the finishing touches on our reopening plan for the community center. We should be able to announce that here shortly. In very short, we're going to have somewhat limited capacity, much more than we have now, but less than usual. And we're going to require vaccines for this first phase. We'll see where we go from there, depending on vaccination numbers and spread in our county. So that's all consuming with the community center. They're looking to hire some new folks to accommodate that. That's going to be one of our other limiting factors. As far as community inclusion, we have a brand new manager. Her name is Stephanie Lyon. She's absolutely amazing. She comes to us with quite a bit of leadership experience in the DD field from California. She has been an absolute godsend for me, finishing up COVID here and us previously having a somewhat limited capacity for leadership in that program. When our previous leaders left, it was kind of up to me, and Stephanie has been absolutely amazing. We really appreciate her. And then our Seema mentioned our investment recovery program had to shut down for a short time, but they are now doing amazing, in fact, expanding. Dave and Coop are in the picture there. Coop actually celebrated his 29th anniversary this year, which is outstanding. He actually got to celebrate with Avista's CEO and several other folks from around the company, of course remotely, but at the building there, and he was just beaming. It was really great. We're really looking forward to next year. Next slide, please. Other updates, our transitioning young adult programs is going really well. Kyla's done a great job leading that program. Our business opportunity school for success, formerly summer school, has been going, as Seema mentioned, since the beginning. We got an amazing contract with DVR, and though our original model was set up for large groups, we've been doing smaller groups. We will continue to do that. The cutting boards were specifically through and working with Meade High School, and then she's got a mixed group of a lot of different high schools going right now, and they're going to be around the office next week, I believe, doing their new hire orientation for the real work experience part of what they do. And then she's also got Summer with a Purpose going, amazing. There's information, I believe, on our social media and on our website, but basically just for young adults to be able to go out and do things of value during summertime than when they otherwise might have been engaged with school. Our Assistive Technology Center also had a real hard time through COVID, but is doing well now. We've been building out our lending library. If you get a chance at all to go into the building right outside the elevator downstairs, you'll see a display case with even just a portion of things, and once we really get it done, we'll shoot it out and share with everybody what we have. So we have items to lend. We still have some funds to buy items to lend, so consultations are still available through our email address, atc@arc-spokane.org. If people want to reach out, Paul will get back to you and see what he can do. He's done in-home consultations and remote consultations at this point. The office will probably be an option for that as well if needed. Okay, so a couple of things to brag about in my programs before I finish up. We had our every other year county program monitoring just finish up in the last couple of weeks. And thanks to our amazing leadership in that program, and especially Jennifer Anderson, who is our QA and admin coordinator, we went from triple-digit findings 2 years ago, something like 130, down to single-digit findings this time that were all very, very minor things that are easily rectified. So we are extremely proud and extremely excited about how well that program is doing. Both programs are really resetting, and just going to jump out of the gate for out of COVID really, really strong. Employment's got a lot of folks working, and folks that aren't working are looking and working real hard to get jobs. It's really been great. It's same as everywhere else. We're just trying to hire to get more people, so we'll have more capacity. A couple other things to brag about. Vanessa, who I just mentioned, along with one of her staff, Austin, put on a training as part of the Community Summit and WISE's Boots on the Ground series, a webinar called Discovery Binder, a hands-on approach to remote work, that they as a team had all put together a technique for doing discovery, which is a billable activity under their program. And that was just amazing. I love it when the ARC gets to shine and show off something we do really well. And those guys did a great job. It was very well attended, very well reviewed. And we have another training actually that our team put on. Kyla Parkins, our program manager for TYAP, teamed up with Bethany Johnson, formerly of Spokane County, now of DVR, to talk about the Business Opportunity School for Success in a statewide Center for Change and Transition Services conference. Really cool session. They did a great job with it. Again, just really, really proud to be able to be out there and talking about the good things that our programs are doing. I think that's it for me, though. Somebody was very kind to mention the baby boy's name. Karsten Christopher Myers is Alicia's little baby boy that was born last night. And Seema, you're up again.
Okay, so I am going to give the advocacy and family support report. We've had a lot of turnover in advocacy and family support. Our director, Katrina Boyk, has moved on, and we also have some of the staff of AFS who have moved on. That said, the staff of advocacy and family support have done a terrific job this last year, and I can't say enough positive things about their work and their dedication. One of the things I wanted to draw your attention to here is that we have a new email for our advocacy and family support advocates, particularly in individual advocacy, and that is advocacy@arc-spokane.org. And the idea here is to have a centralized place for people with inquiries and questions to go, instead of trying to figure out what particular email or what particular phone number. We just want to get barriers out of the way for our constituents to ask us questions. So now our advocacy team is, they're slowly starting to use this email, and we're starting to get it out there in all of our marketing materials. So if everyone could just please make a note of this new email, advocacy@arcspokane.org, we'd really love for you to help us get the word out to people to start using that. Thanks. Okay, so here are a couple of individuals who are amazing. In individual advocacy, you have Megan Juneau there and Jason Stoltz. And one of the things that changed was we went from one person to two people in IA. And I'm happy to announce that Megan is actually going to be going full time with individual advocacy by the end of this month. So not only do we have two people, but we're going to have a lot more time dedicated in the area of individual advocacy to provide support and resources to the people who need us. One thing that was awesome was developing relationships with attorneys to do pro bono work. And even last night, we had a guardianship workshop with a pro bono attorney and hosted, I think, between 6 and 9 parents at that. So they're doing awesome work in AFS in general, and you can see some of the in the bulleted section here, you can see some of the things that they were able to achieve this past year. So sexual abuse prevention, there's Shayla Clark. One note I want to make too is all of our AFS staff has been working remote until recently. Some of them are starting to come back to the office, so they really had to figure out how to do things remotely. And you can see right off the bat here, Shayla created a virtual abuse prevention training and took that to outside organizations to provide it. She's able to provide that to parents on a monthly basis. She has a special training just for parents. It's a 2-hour training that's once a month. And that has really, even though pandemic has expanded the reach of the sexual abuse prevention program. So big shout out to Shayla, and thank you so much, Shayla, for everything you were able to accomplish. Then parent-to-parent program. They have done a lot just to even try to keep track of what they do. One of the big changes in advocacy and family support is making sure that we collect the data that shows who we're speaking to, who we're serving, and what the outcome of that is. And so we've done a lot of work, and they've done a lot of work to track what they do in a new data tracking system and database. Our Helping Parent program has only trained one person, but we're hoping as the pandemic allows more in-person trainings to happen, that maybe that would improve. So you can see some of the other great things they've accomplished here. Parent-to-parent brochures in Spanish and Russian. That's going to help us reach marginalized groups that need support. Here is up at the top, a brand new employee, a new position to the ARC. Lane Anderson is our policy intern, and the other new position is Sareti Jaro, and she is our Spokane Parent Coalition advocate. So these are two new positions. Lane's come from a grant awarded by the Cooney Foundation. Lane is going to be working really hard this next year to recruit more self-advocates to participate in legislative advocacy, to participate in all kinds of advocate programs, just to get more involved, find more people to get more involved and develop their leadership skills. We're really psyched to have Lane here. She works about 10 hours a week, and she's going to be doing a ton of outreach. And Sareti too is on a similar mission to expand both the presence of self-advocates in organizations throughout Spokane, and to encourage more self-advocates to participate in policy work and legislative policy work in particular. So yay. Oh, okay, so I'm going to turn things over to Jennifer Miller. Before we move on though, I forgot to mention our parent-to-parent folks in our rural counties, and one of those, Hannah Tallow, I'm actually going to get the chance to see soon. She has a table up at the Chewelah Farmers Market. And so when we talk about doing things that are innovative and different and new, that is different and new, and what a great way to make connections. So I'll be meeting Hannah soon and checking out her table at the farmers market in the next week or two. Okay, Luke. Nope, this is Jennifer. Jennifer Miller, you're next up.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Miller. Good afternoon. I'm the Supported Living Administrator, and I believe we have a video next of, yes, to watch.
My name is Annette French, and I'm a client of the ARC.
Our clients, unfortunately, were kind of like stuck at home, you know, for a long time. So that was really difficult.
It was extremely hard not being able to see him or go on dates. The ARC tries to make it as best as they possibly can for you, but they do understand that sometimes you get to the point where you just can't take it anymore, and I like that they're able to help you through that.
It took a toll on everybody. At one point, we didn't even have like gowns. We used what we could. One example is this trash bag right here. This is a beautiful floral gown that was made by one of our donators. We have learned how to adapt to this change pretty well. I'm just proud of everybody that hung in there and were really supportive to the clients and supportive to each other.
All I can say is it will get even better than it is now, and if I can do it, Anybody can.
Hopefully we're turning the corner now and can start to enjoy things that we miss enjoying from back then, you know?
My name is
That was a powerful video. So for supported living, we did receive a 2% rate increase for 2022, an additional 2% rate increase that's effective January 1st of 2023. And then also the state has added on a temporary COVID rate for all DDA contracted providers. They extended this through December 31st of 2021. In January of 21, we received a 1.8% increase to the daily contracted rate. We put that money directly back into the pockets of the employees. We were able to increase our starting CLI and DSP wages from $15.85 an hour to $16.10. We addressed compression between positions and were able to give a 25-cent raise. With knowing the 2% increase in plan for 2022, we were able to submit a budget that was approved by the board of directors and increase our starting wages for CLI and DSPs from $16.10 to $16.50 an hour. Again, address compression and also incremental wage increases based off of length of the service. Next slide. On the COVID-19 employee morale, what we've done with the monies, not only from built up ISS wages, but also the specialized COVID dollars, we've paid out bonuses in June, October, December, May, and July. And our houses were under quarantine for a total of 185 days. That was 17 homes that were under for a period of anywhere from 14 to 28 days in duration. The overtime expense to that was $863,312. For the staff that were quarantined at site with the clients, we had staff that were displaced that could not work at other homes and had to wait out the quarantine. We were able to pay staff for the time that they were not able to work at site for what their regular scheduled shift was. And that totaled $124,486. We've tried to continue to boost employee morale by doing boxed lunches, care packages, donut deliveries. We've also been able to create a backstock of inventory to respond to any future needs in supported living. Although we're coming out of the first wave, second and third wave of COVID-19, in supported living, we're considered care providers, and we still must wear full PPE at all times. And we have yet to know when that will end. We have thousands of backstock inventory of face masks, N95s, face shields, foot covers, gowns, and gloves. We have a creative management team that was able to create a quarterly awards program by Awesome Cards and Tickets. We do drawings for awesome awards. We've created an overtime incentive program, and anyone who is currently working to cross-train at another site will receive a weekly $100 bonus. There's also an opportunity for any direct care staff who are working overtime to be entered into a $500 weekly bonus drawing. We plan to run this through the end of August in hopes to recruit new employees and allow for much needed vacation time. Supported living has faced a statewide staffing crisis. We focused our efforts for recruiting. We are currently offering a $1,000 hiring bonus to employees after 100 days of successful employment. We're watching wages of our competitors to stay ahead of the curve, and we're running ads daily on Indeed, Facebook, and being very creative in our marketing efforts to recruit and retain employees. We have 16 homes located across Spokane supporting 47 adults. 5 clients passed away in 2020 and 2021. We are now looking at restructuring some of our household configurations so we're able to match compatibility and also create a duplex vacancy to support new referrals. This falls under controlled growth and is part of our strategic plan. We'll be able to support new referrals with current management and staff. We received a $30,000 anonymous donation to our activities fund and to also enhance the homes and provide opportunities for the clients that we're supporting. Through this past year, we've been able to do pizza deliveries to the home, hope for New Year party boxes to the houses, do a St. Patrick's Day parade where all of the managers decorated their cars and drove by the houses and made it quite a fun event for all of the clients. We purchased April Egg My Yard kits for all of the clients at the homes and have done yard enhancements, purchased games for sites, and also equipment such as bicycles and helmets for staff to begin to ride the trails with the clients. Our transportation department is Wendy Horn, our transportation manager, Trenton Lloyd, the scheduler, and we've just welcomed two new additions of drivers, James McDay and Phil Cosby. It's exciting to finally open up and be able to hire new drivers into the department so we can get back to our clients doing leisure activities and outings and the fun things that they enjoy doing. We'd like to wish Daniel Hendricks a fond farewell. He's retiring today. The pictures of the van on the left is a new lift van that we've added to the fleet. It is owned by the ARC, and we were able to purchase that through reserved monies from our capital budget and also from COVID funding monies. This will provide an opportunity to support additional clients with limited mobility. Excuse me. Wendy should be recognized for all the work she's doing behind the scenes. She's created a new training program and onboarding of new drivers and has worked with STA by presenting sorry, I just got off track there for a second, a proposal to be able to do lift training. STA spent a month or two looking at that, and they used to do the training of all drivers within the STA program, and they've now approved Wendy to do that training. She'll be doing a future presentation of that in our leadership program. Next slide. Our overnight planned respite, that's a picture of Kathy O'Keefe, and we'd like to give congratulations to Kathy, who's been recently promoted from a coordinator to a manager. Our current OPR status is offline. We've spent most of the year offline to COVID-19 from January through April. We came back online April through June and supported 16 clients within the homes. We did go back offline again due to staffing shortages, and we are currently helping at our 35th site. We are expecting a planned audit this next month for our Lidgerwood location and are prepared for that. We expect to pass that with flying colors. And we currently have a COPES license, but we don't have a COPES contract. And so we've submitted the application and we are anxiously awaiting for approval on that. COPES is a Washington State Medicaid waiver program designed to enable individuals who require supports in their home. And if we get that contract, we'll be able to support up to 5 people for a limited number of 2 to 8 hours per day. And thank you. This has not been an easy year. No words can adequately express our gratitude for all that you've done to support our clients through this pandemic. Many staff have worked long hours, extra shifts, and have gone months on end without vacations. We're committed to reminding each of you, you are recognized for the work you do, and you are a valued member of the supported living department. Please hang in there. We value you.
Hi, Julia Walker. I am the Director of Operations and Quality Assurance. There we go. So at the last State of the ARC, I introduced the new role and what it meant. To recap, the key initiative of this department is to establish a quality assurance and management department for agency-wide oversight, assure ongoing compliance with quality and industry standards and regulatory requirements, build structure that supports departmental compliance and expertise. With the unforeseen demands and crisis situations in areas throughout the agency, the structuring has been a little slow. You could say it's a crawl. Supported living quality assurance. So these gals have been working double time. Long-term care worker, or you may know it as 1163 trainings, have been revamped and reduced to 2 weeks from a 6-week course, allowing new staff to receive the trainings required, providing new staff the skills and knowledge needed to be effective in a more timely manner. The majority of this training has been moved to a Zoom setting, with the exception of one in-class hands-on skills acquisition training. With Washington State relaxing guidelines, we are now able to expand capacity of staff needing to attend bloodborne pathogen trainings. We're looking at expanding CPR classes soon, and you can email trainers at arc-spokane.org for your scheduling needs. We have expanded the QA department. Stephanie Garrett has returned to SL as our newest trainer. We're excited to have her on the team. She brings with her experience and experiences of having worked in a home, beginning as a CLI and working her way to managing a home. We also like to welcome Brianna Collins. She's our new client support services coordinator. She's brought a great deal of skills and ideas to her position. She, along with our human resource department, have been kicking butt in the SL hiring process. 2 great additions to the team. We have also procured 8 new mannequins for CPR. They're equipped with compression depth clickers and compression rate monitor feedback devices. These new mannequins will optimize skills by ensuring compression depth and compression rate are reached within an audible clicking sound and LED indicators. This will help ensure that they actually have the practice for CPR. Mariah has been working behind the scenes to ensure spend downs from our stimulus payments do not impact our clients' waivered services. Big shout out to the entire team for being available to cover shifts and train new staff where they can. Next slide. Facilities. So as you can see by the background picture, the facilities department's been pretty busy beautifying 2nd Avenue. The lower level received a paint job and the entire parking area received crack fills and has been repaved. Brian and Brandon had tirelessly worked completing dump runs and moving items for our supported living clients, which took about a week. And we greatly appreciate their efforts. Our facilities team is the greatest and they're always hustling. Representative payee department, these ladies have been working pretty hard to push data for approximately 550 clients into their new payee program manager program. Purchase of their new check stock printer, which will allow for bulk check prints and eliminating printing 1 check at a time. They're also in the process of moving all client accounts from individual to a collective bank account, providing a more effective and efficient process for their clients and the small but very effective department who have been down in employees since March of 2020. All this is projected to go live by October 2021. You're up, Rose.
unmute myself. Sorry. Hello, I'm Rose, the director of Thrift Store Operations, and this is our state of the art. So I don't know if you've checked out our Instagram, but you definitely should. We have a really cool specialist now helping us, Erin. And so every month we do Instagram giveaways, whether it is fun prizes like those 2 statues right there or shopping sprees. We recently for Pride Month partnered with, what was her name? Youth Odyssey Movement, and for people that we have people match donations for them. So that was pretty cool. So check out our Instagram page. We've had a lot of fun with employees this year. Like everybody, we've just been trying to raise morale wherever possible. So the first picture on the left was, I think Ronnie was here for 3 or 4 years. She was a really great employee. She left to actually go do supported employment. But I don't know if you've seen, if you check out our Instagram, we literally saran wrapped her car to a light pole. It was fun. And then the second picture, that's our rock star Jacob. He loves to be in the spotlight and he's excellent at it. He has started being a more big presence on our Instagram and our social media. And he does Rock the Runway every year. He loves it. And Jacob is actually most likely going to be, we got a new truck this year. And so he is going to be the model face on the truck wrap. So that's going to be exciting. The next picture is our production supervisor, Heidi, and a long-term employee, Crystal. Heidi's got married this year, and we threw her a bridal shower. So yeah, we've been having fun with everybody. And then we've also had a couple catered lunches to celebrate sales and just staff hanging in there. So we've had a lot of support and the employees have been awesome while they're working this hard. DD Awareness Month. So Erin again, she designed and painted that mural that you see on the bottom left. She's a very talented designer and she's a great painter. She's an okay person. But anyway, so if you want, you can go take a picture with the mural. It's still in the front of the store. It has all the little clouds are different values. And then in the sun, it says inclusive community, every life fulfilled. So it's really on mission and really on brand. During that month, Electric Photoland came and did a professional quality photo booth right inside the store. So anybody that was shopping came in and was able to get a cool little printout of whatever pictures they wanted. And we had a lot of people participate. This was kind of the first time we also started doing educational posts with the help and guidance of Kelsey. She really helped Erin to kind of direct her into where we wanted the educational posts to be using our social media platform. And then those were also posted on the our mains page too. So that was a good month. Recently, during the heat wave, we hosted a cooling station for everybody in the community, whether you're walking by, busing by, have a pet. And we got a lot of in-kind donations from Jules Helping Hands. They brought us a whole pallet of water. We got a bunch of ice. We even had a bunch of Gonzaga students dropping by things like water and ice. And it was really, really cool. We did that for 4 or 5 days. We had a soaker hose out there, lots of pop-up tents. Dwayne really stepped up and helped with that. So yeah, it was a good service to the community. We are still handing out cold water. So if you come into the thrift store and need some water, we're still handing those out to the general public for free. We've been having really great sales. It started with the stimulus payments, but it never stops. So we're hoping that just popularity and word of mouth, this will become our new normal. Our totals are really good compared to what they have been ever. And don't forget to every Saturday, we have a huge sale. 4 different tag colors are half off. So if you come in, you get not only a great sale, but bring your ID badge and you get an additional 20% off on top of that. If you bring your ID and come shopping any day, you get that discount, but Saturdays, if you really want to maximize your savings, that's a good day to do it. Meet Sully, our new mascot. He now has an ARC t-shirt on, so we're getting there. We're gonna put him outside by the Ruby entrance so that people know that you can actually enter our parking lot from there. He's probably over 6 feet tall. He's pretty, you notice him. But if you want a picture with Sully right now through this month, he will be in the front as well. So if you want to take a picture with our mural or take a picture with Sully, we just have lots of fun stuff going on at the store. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Take it away, Kelsey.
Thanks, Rose. Yes, I'm Kelsey Baumgartner. I'm the Director of Development, Marketing, and Communications. And so first, I want to welcome Carrie Bostic. We hired her a couple months ago. She's our new Marketing and Communications Coordinator, and she has just hit the ground running. She immediately took over our social media. I know a lot of you have met with her because she's been going around and meeting with you and your clients. And I think little known fact too, within 5 weeks of her being here, we put out the first edition of The Voice that either she or I had done. And not only did we get it out in print, but we got it online and were able to get it emailed out to people as well. And so that was a huge accomplishment right off the bat. But she's also been doing a great job of learning all of our systems, helping people get the word out about the programs and activities and events that we've got going on all across the agency. She's learned a new setup for managing our website. And so by the way, if you guys notice anything on the website, just give either her or I an email and we'll make sure we'll get things fixed. Or if you have updates you want to make, just reach out to us. We'll make sure that that gets done. And then, of course, is overseeing our branding guidelines and making sure that all the communications that go out from the Arc of Spokane are meeting those and are on brand, and make it basically so that anything that someone sees from the Arc of Spokane, it's only a quick glance and they know who we are. And speaking of that, we have been doing it's not truly a refresh. I should probably have rephrased that. But we are trying to recognize that our brand is a little bit more than just a logo and the colors that we use. It's about being engaging. It's about telling about the work that the ARC does and the people it serves. And that has to do with you and it has to do with our clients. And so whether it's via emails or frequent social media posts, engagement with the community, mailers, we want to promote your programs and activities in any way, shape, or form. And so thank you to everyone who has been so open and willing to meet with us and to, spotlight not just your staff, but also your clients so that we can tell their stories as well. And along those same lines, we want to make sure that it's integrated so that no matter what, as I mentioned before, it's clean branding and imagery that's consistent, whether it's our website, social media, emails, advertisements, printed materials, like Rose was just talking about getting a new wrap on the box truck. Things like that, making sure that we know what we're looking for and that it works with across the entire agency is what we're really going for. And then just, we are here to help you. And so being as strategic as possible helps us as well. So as far ahead of schedule as you can let us know about your programs and your activities, especially if it's going to require us to set up sign-up forms online or send out emails, or maybe even we have to get some people into our CRM so that we can send out emails. Let us know as soon as possible. We do like to plan and try to get ahead. Our email and social media calendars do fill up and they are getting fuller every single day. And so the more time we have to work with you, the better. Moving on to fundraising, this is a lot of information in a spreadsheet, so I won't make you stare at it for too long, but mostly what I wanted to show you guys is what I am interested in seeing, and this is really just like the tip of the iceberg of the type of information I'm hoping to eventually extract from our giving database. But the pieces that I truly wanted to highlight are, you see the yellow number there under the fiscal year 20 column. That's the total dollars that we believe was raised in fiscal year 20, which was just under $300,000. And then if you go over to the fiscal year 21 column, where the green number is, you see that this year we raised $320,800 and change. The thing about that number is it's a little bit deceiving. If you go back to the Q2 column, you see that we got $174,000 in that particular quarter, and that was due to an anomaly gift from a single family who gave $100,000. And so while it looks like this year actually did better than fiscal year 20, in reality, since that one gift was such a large one, the largest in the ARC's history, we truly were, from a fundraising perspective, behind where we were last year. The interesting thing about that is if you go down to the blue and the purple numbers, though, you see that's the number of donors we had. And what's fascinating about this is we actually had more donors this year than we did last year, but they gave fewer dollars. And whether that's a result of the pandemic, whether that's a result of just the type of donors that we attracted this particular year, of course, I don't know for sure at this point. But it is encouraging to see that there have been more people willing to support the ARC, even if it's at, smaller numbers, because every single drop in the bucket helps. And these are just a couple of charts that kind of put this into perspective a little bit too, from a visual view. On the left side, that's the dollars raised. On the right side, it's the number of donors. And then it also shows which dollars came from individuals, from organizations, from grants. You can see that our dollars from organizations were down a little bit. I have a feeling that's as much because Rock the Runway was not in person this year. And so sponsorships may have been down a little bit. But you see that we're trending upwards in both fiscal year donors total and individual donors. And then just kind of looking back and ahead here from an events fundraising-ish type perspective, Egg My Yard was incredibly successful this year. It's been touched on a little bit, but they blew their numbers out of the water from the previous year. I think they went from about 90 orders up to 130. And that resulted in raising about $5,000, a little over $5,000 for the transition and young adult programs. On the top right, you'll see a screenshot from our annual meeting, which we did remote as well. It was a half-hour virtual program hosted by our very own Seema Thorpe and our board president, Cassie Kane. They did a fantastic job. The videos that we've watched during the State of the ARC here were actually produced for the annual meeting to give folks a better idea and to put some more faces in front of them to let them know what's actually been going on. And then you'll see below there, that is Jacob again, loving being in the spotlight. But we are really excited and looking forward to Rock the Runway in just over 2 months. We will be hosting it in person again at the Historic Flight Foundation out at Felds Field in the Valley. We're just super excited to partner with this location. It's big, it's open, it's airy. We can have the doors open, we can spread out. People can feel like they are safe, even if they're not vaccinated. And we're just excited to get people back in person, share our clients with the community. Again, we've got 15 models, Mariah's on it. It's just going to be a really, really exciting and fun event again. We're moving ahead with the auction and raffles and all the fundraising pieces that, were in place a couple of years ago. And so the official save the date went out a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and the official invitation and registration page will be live, I think a week from today, maybe another day or two beyond that. But we're just excited to really start getting the word out about this and get people back in person to celebrate people with disabilities. Nancy, it's you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Nancy Gooch, the Director of Finance for the ARC of Spokane. I'm going to be sharing the budget. So this is a snapshot, a very summarized thing of our revenue. We are going to be in fiscal year 22. So our fiscal year started this July 1st and it goes through next June 30th of 2022. I am used to having my mouse, so I am reaching for it. Total revenue for this budget is $14,765,379. And you can see on the fourth line down, government grants and contracts is $11,824,933. Jennifer had mentioned this. This is some of that COVID relief funding that she was talking about for supported living that has been budgeted, and then other COVID relief fund that we know. This budget was conservative. At the time it was being prepared in April, we weren't really sure when we would be fully reopening. So the next slide is our expenses. And you can see our expenses are $14,968,642. And the very top line, you can see salaries, payroll, taxes, and benefits is almost $13 million. So you can see we invest really heavily in our employees to bring up wages and then to bring up benefits, and then IRS needs their payroll taxes. Our next line that is a little bit higher is our overhead, $722,748, and that is things like rent for our thrift store, our houses, mortgage for the Second and Avenue third building, mortgage for the duplex, etc. So on the next slide, we can, if you did the math, you can see we do have an overall budgeted deficit of $203,264. Not to really be alarmed, what I consider is our operating deficit. Our operating deficit is our revenue over our direct expenses. That deficit is $7,537. The reason why the $203,000 is there is because of depreciation. Depreciation, that $195,823 is not real cash that's coming out of this budget. We do have some capital purchases, and a capital purchase is an asset that is over $1,000 and will have a useful life of over a year. So this would be like our vehicles and stuff. And per the accounting rules, when we purchase things like that, I don't expense them at the time we purchase them. I have to depreciate them. So I have to take the cost of that asset and figure out how many months, years we have that asset, and just spread that cost equally over those months that we have it. So this is where the operating deficit is only about 7,500. Overall deficit is the 200,000. On the next slide, just kind of some numbers. Budgeted full-time equivalent FTEs is 268.11. Our revenue increased from this last fiscal year to this fiscal year of 765,876. Increased expenses from this fiscal year compared to last is 610,453. And of that 610,000, you can see salaries, payroll, taxes, and benefits increased 573,000. This is because we have giving pay raises to the majority of the staff. So you should be seeing your pay raise pretty soon. And I just wanted to let you know that when the board of directors and the directors team kind of talked about the budget, raising wages was the top goal for them. And so unfortunately, there's always give and take in a budget. To be able to afford the wage increases, we did have some new positions that we wanted to do, but we decided to put those on hold because we felt that raising wages was our top priority. So there's only one new position in this budget, and it's a part-time assistant for Kelsey, our Director of Resource Development and Communications. And as I mentioned, a lot of still uncertainty when we prepared the budget. A lot of the budget was based on being fully reopened on October 1st. As Luke alluded to, you know, we are able to open up sooner. So realize a budget is a guideline, a roadmap, something to follow. And we just got to try to hit the target at the end. That's all I have. And next is Pam.
Thanks, Nance. Let's see. Oh, there I am. Okay, so I am Pam Mulvaney, the Human Resources Director here at the ARC of Spokane. As far as our employee numbers, I reported last State of the ARC as of January 28th. We had 251 employees. As of June 30th, 2021, we have 241 employees. So A lot of people mentioned that they're hiring. Well, that's why we have less employees. They need to hire. In January, we had 19 employees laid off or out due to high risk affecting the thrift store, Avista facilities, community center, rep payee, and supported living. Currently, we have returned all but 7 employees to work, and we're currently negotiating with 4 employees to return soon. So we'll only have 3 that hadn't been returned as of now. Some of the COVID employee morale that the agency was able to do across the board for all programs and all employees. April through October, we started afternoons with SEMA. Hopefully some of you, logged in and saw that talk show. It became, kind of like a cult following thing where we had special presentations and presenters. We had, shared recipes. We had sing-alongs. We had, it was just a lot of fun, and SEMA really put a lot of work into that to kind of keep everybody together at the ARC and to be able to touch base. It was a lot of fun. In June of 2020, every employee employed at that time received an end of the fiscal year bonus. July of 2020, we had an Italian soda at the thrift store in 2nd Avenue parking lots for employees and customers and clients. In September of 2020, we added an extra day off to the Labor Day weekend that was paid, or you received an extra day of pay if you weren't able to take the day off and were working. In November of 2020, we did a drive-by care package. A lot of staff came by in their cars. Everybody was masked up. We had prepared care packages and handed those off to staff and managers that delivered them back to all employees at each of their work sites. In December of 2020, we reinstituted our vacation cash out one-time exception. Employees were able to cash out 50% of their vacation because they were unable to take their vacation in a lot of 2020 due to the pandemic. In February of 2021, over the President's Day holiday weekend, we extended that for an additional day as well, and provided boxed lunches to the thrift store and supported living. In May of 2021, we extended the Memorial Day holiday weekend to 4 days. And if you were working, you got an extra day of pay if you weren't able to take the day off. And then it's not over. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but in July of 2021, for supported living, please keep your ears and eyes open. There's going to be a surprise. I did want to talk a little bit about some improvements that HR has made with the help of our new Marcom, Kelsey and Carrie, pointing out our website and how we do all of our hiring. It used to all be done by paper, and then we couldn't have actual people stop by the office. So we stopped taking paper applications and had to put in a better online application form. So we now have a fillable form on our website that employees or potential employees can fill out. It's a real slick system. You click the button, it brings it up. You fill out your information, you click submit. You'll get a acknowledgement from the HR department that it's been received and be able to communicate. We also just recently started taking paper applications again at the front desk when we were able to open up the building. And as Jennifer Miller reported, if you get hired in supported living after 120 days of successful employment, we have a $1,000 bonus happening. So if you know anybody who you think would be a good DSP, community living instructor, for any of the positions in supported living, please shoot them to the website. Our hiring and turnover, and of course, this is only for half the year through June 30th. In 2020, we offered 35 orientations and hired 127 new employees. Through the 6 months of 2021, we offered 26 new hire orientations and hired 87 new employees. So if you do the math there, you'll see we are on target for offering many more new hire orientations than we did the prior year, as well as hiring a lot more employees than we did the prior year. 2020, 42 of the 127, which equals 33% of our new hires left employment for one reason or another. 26 of the 87 in 2021, or 30% of new hires left employment. So we have a more of a retention of our new hired employees happening in 2021. So that's really good to see. In 2020, the total employees who left employment was 243. Of course, that number includes 2 layoff sessions and the high-risk layoff. We only have 96 employees who left our employment in 6 months. So we are on a better trajectory for that number as well. COVID-19 vaccination, you've heard it from every which way from Sunday, is one of the most important tools to end the pandemic. The ARC offered a COVID vaccine clinic in February and March, but they're pretty much offered almost anywhere. You can go to the Department of Health, www.doh.waa.gov/emergency/COVID-19/vaccine. Find out all of this information. How do you get it? Where can you get it? We strongly encourage employees to research your options, talk to your doctor about what's right for you, get vaccinated if that's your choice. And most currently, HR has been very, very involved. Part of the COVID task force Seema talked about that have had to stay on top of maintaining all of the changes. We sometimes had changes, and then had other changes in the same week, and had to stay on top of all of those and tried to keep all of employees informed. We've made it this far, 15, 16 months into this, and the governor announced the Washington Ready plan. We are working on that updated plan of what that's going to look like for the ARC of Spokane and the main office. It'll be coming out shortly. And currently right now, if you are an employee coming into the Second Avenue office, if you are vaccinated, show proof to the receptionist or bring it by the HR office. You can show your actual card, a picture of your card, etc. You can be added to the HR backlog and go maskless while at the building. What's coming up for HR? Of course, I mentioned continuing to educate employees about COVID changes. I also mentioned hiring and supported living. If you know of anyone, please send them to the ARC website to use that handy dandy updated new application. And then our strategic plan goal focus is going to be onboarding and employee training. HR staff, and I've got to do a little shout out here for my HR and finance staff, as essential workers. They have been here every day during the pandemic, coming to work with the risks, and helping to hold this agency together, keep you informed, keep payroll going, all of those things that happen behind the scenes to run the business, to make sure that our staff and clients are taken care of. So a big shout out to the HR and finance team for being one of those essential things to keep the ARC going. You're really appreciated. Those staff are participating in demos of software to improve the hiring process, from the application to new hire orientation, applicant tracking, storing documents, all in an effort to modernize our system. And then with Washington Ready, we're going to be focusing on employee required trainings coming into compliance. Over the pandemic, a lot of the rules changed for training, as Julie mentioned, whereby they can do 1163 in 2 weeks and not 6 or longer. So a lot of people, they've worked really hard to maintain their minimum certifications, and the ARC is committed to employee training. So we want to get everybody back into compliance now that we're able to. And what you were all here really to see and hear, and other directors have alluded to it, but employee pay raises. As Nancy mentioned, pay raises were budgeted. Most employees will see increases on their July 23rd, 21st paychecks. Both paydays are paid on the same day, July 23rd. Increasing wages was a priority for the directors team and the board of directors, as Nancy mentioned. Really wanting to celebrate our employees. All of our COVID-19 sacrifices are paying off. You'll be receiving status forms with your individual details of your individual raise. Managers, if you didn't see my email, please come to the office, collect your status forms and deliver them to your employees and get that information out to them, please. I think we have Seema back up.
Okay, thanks, Pam. That was awesome. And congratulations to everyone on getting a raise. That was really our priority, as Pam said. And I hope you would agree that it was worth the sacrifice. So now to the most fun and exciting portion of today's State of the Arc. We're going to do our employee recognition. And we have a lot of recognition to do today. First, we're going to do the 2019, 2020, and the first 6 months of this year, 2021, years of service anniversaries. So we haven't really had an opportunity to do recognition the way we used to because of the pandemic. We're in catch-up mode now. And so we have some time to go back here and do the years of service. We're also going to announce the Employee of the Year and the 2020 Leadership Employee of the Year. So that leadership meaning anyone who is a manager or director. So I'm very excited to get to this. We're going to wrap up State of the Arc right now by recognizing our long-time employees, as well as introduce that 2020 Employee of the Year, those 2020 Employees of the Year. So let's be honest, you know, the last 15 months have not been easy. We've talked about that throughout State of the Arc today, but each and every one of you who has worked at the Arc has made it possible for us to continue our work while serving people with intellectual and developmental disabilities throughout a global pandemic. And so at any moment, the ARC would not be the agency it is without each of you, our employees. And during a pandemic, words truly can't express the gratitude that I have for each of you. And thank you so much. You all deserve an award. You truly do. The employees that I'm about to recognize here are celebrated as in their milestone years. So either after 2019 or 2020, and then again, the first 6 months of 2021. So I'm very grateful to get the chance to finally recognize all of you. You've given so much of yourselves each day. It's really hard to sustain that for the long haul. So for each of the following people who are being recognized for their longtime service, thank you for everything you do on a daily basis. So I'll start here with our 2019. These are 5 years of service to the ARC. They include Julie Chase, Jacob Childs, Christopher Defoe, Shana Henry, Todd Jensen, James McCormick, Sarah Meacham, Barbara Manone, Amy Morrison, Lexton Rapolsky, Lelania Stravens, and Andrea Stewart. And for 2020, our 5 years are Jenica Chatfield, Allison Dunlap, Mariah Kincaid, Connie Oliver, Serena Saunders, and me. And then for 2021, in our first 6 months for 5 years, we have Heidi Kidd, Joseph Stinson, and Julia Ungamak. Okay, 10 years, an entire decade of service to the ARC. In 2019, hitting that milestone, Taylor Cartwright, Amber Van Friedenberg, and Barbara Wozni. And this year, last year, 2020, Scott Dobles and Colleen Mercar. And finally, no, not finally, this is 15 years, thank you. Finally, it's gonna be 30 or more, I think. 2019, for 15 years, we have Shirley Roche, Brandy Willie, 2020, Janice Bragg, 2021, Amy Flower, you hit 15 years, Amy. And then for 2020, Christy Sundheim and Tracy, 2025, I apologize for that. 2025 and 2020, Christy Sundheim and Tracy Thompson hit their quarter century mark. Here we go. And last but not least, 2019, 30 years, Nancy Gooch And 2020, 30 years for Pam Mulvaney. Oh my goodness, you guys. You have seen this ARC grow tremendously, change its location, change the programs, grow from a fairly small organization to a huge one. I think, Pam, you were here when you were 15 years old working. So this is just amazing that we would have any employees who have been here for 30 years. So please join me in congratulating Nancy and Pam for 30 years of service to the ARC. Yay. Okay. Hopefully you're all out there virtually clapping. And yeah, and to all of our employees that hit milestones, more than ever, we need you. We've really needed that consistency and wisdom of our employees over the past couple of years and moving forward. So for 2020 Employee of the Year, so these are all employees who are not a manager or a director. The nominees are Caroline Bost, Stephen Damiani, Allison Dunlap, Stephanie Garrett, Heidi Kidd, Angela Maskell, Kelly O'Neill, Anna Pack, and Alvin Williams. So we're going to recognize these employees of the year. And each year, just so you know, we receive these nominations, and then our recognition committee interviews the supervisors of each nominee and co-workers, and we hear amazing stories about each person that's been nominated and the work that these individuals do every day. So of course, we can only hand out one award each, but I do want us to take this moment to recognize all of these outstanding employees that we receive, and let's give them all a little virtual round of applause here with me. Okay, and now if I could have a virtual drum roll, we are going to announce our 2020 Employee of the Year, and she is Colleen Mercar. Congratulations, Colleen. And Colleen is a supported living quality assurance manager. She was nominated before she was promoted. In her nomination, she is, quote, extremely knowledgeable, a great communicator, has a personable approach, superb methodology, and is totally dedicated to the ARC and its mission. Colleen gets amazing results in her trainings, is detail-oriented, respects everyone, has great insight, and is always willing to assist and help employees gain a deeper understanding of various topics and subtopics. I know, Colleen, you help out everywhere in the ARC. I mean, you're helping lead that diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. Huge congrats. Oh, wait, there's a few more words here I have to read from Colleen's supervisor. Colleen exhibits dedication, accountability, integrity, and respect in all that she does. She shows a willingness and initiative to do and be better all the time. She is invested in her job, the department she works in, the team she works with, and the agency as a whole. Colleen, thank you so much for everything you do. Huge congrats. Here is your trophy. And do you want to say can you say a couple words here to the group?
Oh wow, thank you. Well, I just got covered in glitter. I don't even know what to say. I'm really wow, stunned, and I'm really stunned at that picture because obviously my hair has changed quite a bit in the last year. I'm looking at that picture, but I just have to say thank you to everybody and my team here at the ARC who's been my team since I got here, and you guys are amazing, and the staff. I have such a tremendous belief in the potential of all of you and being able to work together and come together. And this last year has been a really tough year. And so I would love to share this with my team because I don't think you know, I just don't think I would have been able to achieve any of the things that I've been able to do without the support of my team. My supervisor, you all know who she is, amazing mentor and amazing person to work with. And I thank her because she's been here since I got here and has really guided me. So I can't say enough. I just thank you. I'm so incredibly appreciative. Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome, Colleen, and very well deserved. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And you're among good company too,
Yes,
with all those
yes,
nominees.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so for the Leadership Employee of the Year, which recognizes a member of the leadership team, so that is someone at the manager, director level. Here are the nominees: Shauna Inman, Misty Labret, Jennifer Miller, Betsy Mercar, Luke Tolley, and Jenna C. Weller. Again, an amazing, amazing group. Can I have another drum roll? So drum roll, please. And the 2020 Leadership Employee of the Year is Luke Tolley. Congratulations, Luke. Woohoo.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Oh, that's amazing. Gosh.
I have to talk about you first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. They give.
Okay, you can talk after I talk about you. So Luke is the Director of Community Engaged Programs, and from his nomination, quote, Luke oversees a number of programs and has had even more to juggle this year. He really stepped up to help wherever possible, from working to transition a new IT provider, assisting with the first virtual Rock the Runway, helping to formulate the agency COVID-19 response, and is still supporting his teams. You can always depend on him to get things done and to support us in whatever we need to do our jobs. This year had a lot of change and loss. Luke has maintained his willingness to do whatever it takes to help the agency and his team succeed. He has also been very good about recognizing the challenges that staff have faced and has supported them through those challenges while maintaining the best for the organization. He recognizes and appreciates each of the team members, and it shows in how he treats each of us. He is dedicated to his job and to the agency in all he does. Hey, Luke, I am honored to recognize you today as one of my close teammates. Congratulations, and thank you so much. And another huge round of applause for Luke. Okay, Luke, now you can say a few words.
Thank you. Sorry, they gave me too much power with the muting and unmuting. I don't even know what to say. I appreciate it. Colleen, I would echo exactly what she said, that without the amazing team around me, this would not be at all the thing. I am so lucky to have the best folks working for me and the best folks working around me. I'm also really vindicated because last time I was nominated, Dave beat me, and I was never comfortable with that. So I'm glad that that's over. No, I love Dave. Actually, it's so great. I appreciate it. My head is full of congestion. So this is a terrible thank you speech, but I just really appreciate it. I'm very much honored and humbled by it.
Well, you are very welcome. With so many nominations this year, we had a lot, despite it being the pandemic. It was recognition committee really had a lot of work to do and tough decisions to make. So a big shout out and thanks to that group one more time. They made sure that we counted each employee too from 2019 to 2020 and celebrating their years of service. So behind the scenes, you have a group of leaders here at the ARC that are making sure that we recognize everyone. So thank you so much, everyone. We actually finished State of the Art before I thought we would. And if you will, please join us in early 2022 for our next State of the Art and our 2021 employee recognition. If any of you have any questions about any of the information we've provided today, you can shoot me an email, or anyone here who's presented today, and an email. I'll be happy to answer your questions. So thank you all. Stay safe out there, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.